I am breaking off my engagement because of his new views about women. I didn't believe it. He was telling me how women are worse than men because we are sneaky and conniving. My 28F fiancé 34M, and I used to have a great relationship, but for the last few years, his political views have become a problem. I mostly bit my tongue about it, but it came to a head when he accused a woman at his job of lying about her sexual assault. I pointed out that when a woman accuses a man of rape, he questions it and says she is lying. He justified that by saying it's stupid to believe an accusation like that with no proof. I pointed out that he has no proof that she's lying either, but he's accusing her anyway. He often sends me articles of women, usually teachers, sexually abusing boys. I brought up that he never says the boys are lying or asks for proof. He got very upset and kept repeating that I was trivializing male sexual abuse. I don't feel like I was. I feel that I was just pointing out the hypocrisy. He denied being biased against female accusers. I reminded him that when the allegations against Diddy first happened, he said, feminists were just trying to ruin a successful man's life. Unsurprisingly, he never brought up the man who accused Diddy of sexual assault. He defended Diddy up until the video of him physically assaulting Cassie was leaked. Even then he said, we didn't know the whole story. The final straw was when he was telling me, yet again, how women are actually worse than men because we are sneaky and conniving and, at least men will F*** you over to your face. He kept saying that women are far worse people than men and I just lost it. I said that there was nowhere on earth, not now or ever in recorded history, has the female violent crime rate been higher than the males. I told him that men kill each other even more than they kill us, so they are a bigger danger to themselves than some girl being sneaky. I said that blaming women for unfair legislation like conscription makes no sense when men make up the majority of the US government, and most, if not all, other governments. He was absolutely furious about all this. He didn't argue with me, Percy. He just told me that I was brainwashed by the feminist agenda, and that feminism lied to me and convinced me I was special. I still don't know where that comment came from. It was not relevant to anything. I admittedly was very pissed off and said, well, maybe patriarchy lied to you about this relationship being special. I threw my ring at the table, left the house, and haven't spoken to him since. Today he sent me a long text stating how I belittled him with that comment, and that I would be a good wife if I could just stop needing to be right all the time. I haven't responded, and I'm conflicted about if I will at all. I feel bad about throwing his ring. I really feel bad that I hurt his feelings by saying our relationship isn't special. But still TBH, I'm seriously questioning if I really want to marry him. He has always been argumentative. Not just with me. With everyone. Normally I just ignore it, but he was so egregious with his hypocritical BS. I shouldn't have taken the bait, and I don't feel like men are generally bad. I was speaking out of anger. I don't consider myself to be a super political person. I'm not even sure if I count as a feminist. He just has a new complaint about women every freaking day at this point. It's so frustrating. When he became this way, but it sucks. There are still things I love about him, but the things he has been saying may be more than I can forgive. Despite all that, I'm still responsible for my intense outburst because I ignored his constant woman bashing in an effort to keep the peace. I exploded when I could have just spoken up from the start. Maybe if I'd nipped it in the bud right at the start, it could have been better. I don't know what to do. Update. Hi again. I'm surprised and overwhelmed by the response my post got. Thanks to everyone who read through all that. And thanks to anyone who reads through all this too. After I left, I went to a hotel. He kept contacting me to ask when I was coming home. I told him I needed time to think and turned off my phone. When I turned it back on, I saw his photo on my lock screen and decided to call him, for reasons that will make sense later. He said he wanted to talk face to face and I agreed, so I went home. He apologized for implying that I'm not special. I apologize for implying our relationship isn't special. We've been together for 12 years, so saying that was hurtful and untrue. Before anyone compares the harshness of our statements, his wrongs don't justify my own and vice versa. Disclaimer. This post isn't about the validity or ethics of gender roles. This is strictly an account of what happened with no wider social commentary from me. We discuss what we wanted for the future. He wants a traditional marriage, and specified the following. I would quit my job and we'd start trying for a baby right after the wedding. I'd be a psalm until the kids are old enough for primary school, and we'd raise them as Christians. He wants to protect and provide for our family, and I would be submissive. He assured me that I could still disagree with him and have a say, but he wants to ultimately have the final say in most things. He asked if I understood what he wanted and I said yes. When he asked me if I still wanted to get married, I told him that I didn't. He has the right to change his mind, but it's not the arrangement we agreed to when he proposed. This post is long enough, so I won't detail how he got into this gender essentialism stuff or why I don't want the type of relationship he's asking for. Suffice to say, we are no longer compatible. He wants to do a trial run of his preferred setup, so I can see that it's for the best. I told him that we had a very successful trial run of not doing that for 10 years until he decided to switch things up a few years ago. He was unfazed by this. So about the lock screen. He has a small snaggletooth toward the back that he's always been shy about, so he never fully smiles in public. That photo is one of very few pictures where he is showing his real smile, and it's beautiful. Seeing that photo used to make me so happy. When I saw it this morning, I just felt sad. I know it sounds dramatic, but it feels like he died and was replaced by some kind of red-pilled pod person. When he asked me if I still loved him at all, I told him that I will always love him, but I'm not in love with him anymore. I get that many people had strong feelings about the things he said, and he definitely crossed the line several times, but this is still so hard for me to do. He's the only man I've ever been with and my best friend. I'm relieved that it's over but still sad about how it ended. I accept that he's a different person now, but it's hard not to think of what could have been. Edit, about that age gap, I rounded up from the more accurate 11 years and however many months and just said 12 years, but yeah, I was 17 and he was 22 when we got together. I know that's a big red flag now, but at the time I didn't see it that way. I was raised in a super conservative family and intended to save myself for marriage. I slowly moved away from ultra-conservatism/religion as I got older. I know that's still a little sus that he was with me to begin with, but for what it's worth, we didn't have sex until I was 19, and it was very consensual.
I'm rethinking having a child with my wife because of what I just found out about her dad. My wife Jessica, 32F, and I, 30M, have been married for 2 years and are trying for a baby. Jessica has an older sister, Mary, that she isn't close to. She told me that they had a huge falling out over some family drama and just don't speak anymore. I asked a few times about the entire situation, but she would say she doesn't like talking about it and doesn't think it's important. It was Jessica's brother's birthday yesterday, and we were all over at his house to celebrate. Mary made an appearance, and there was a lot of drama. Long story short, she called Jessica and her brothers out for still associating with their dad when they know that he is a child. No one was paying her any mind, and I was really confused on what the hell was going on. When Mary left and Jessica and I went home, I asked Jessica what the hell happened. She said that when they were kids, Mary used to claim that their dad used to her. I asked if it's true, and Jessica was stuttering a lot. She said she knows her dad used to do bad things, but that Mary cut them all off when she turned 18 and moved out. I asked if she is admitting that she knows her dad was a child and did things to his own daughter. She said he doesn't do it anymore and he was just in a really bad place in his life. And he apologized to Mary, so there's nothing else anyone can do for Mary. I was honestly appalled. I also feel so terrible for Mary. Jessica made it seem like Mary did something wrong and deserved to be basically exiled from the family. I could have never imagined that this is what happened. I asked if she expects me to now be willing to have that man around our future children, and she started shouting at me, saying I'm judging him off something that happened 2 decades ago, and whether I like it or not, he is going to be our child's grandpa and he will be in their lives. I said if she insists on it, I think we need to hold off on having kids and have serious conversations about it. She's extremely angry at me, but I don't know how I could better react, to be honest. This feels like a huge deal that she is minimizing. Update. It's been nearly a year since my I Need Help post, so I thought I would give an update. A few days after my original post, I sat Jessica down and told her how I was feeling. I told her I'm not okay with what she and her family had done to Mary. They knew what their dad had done to her, but still chose to take his side and make Mary look crazy. I told her I'm also not okay with brushing her father's crimes under the rug. She was quiet and didn't say anything. She didn't try to defend herself or her family. She was just staring at me in a very chilling way, almost like she was indifferent to whatever I had to say and just wanted it to be over. I told her I needed time to myself and I would leave and think about what I wanted to do. Suddenly she was paying attention. She seemed shocked and panicked. She started begging me not to leave, saying I'll get over it in a few days when we get back to how we usually are and things settle down. She said all families have skeletons in their closet and that this can't define our marriage. I said no and I left the house for a few days. I ignored all her calls and those of her family. I reached out to Mary on Facebook. I wrote her a lengthy message about how I had no idea all she had been through and that I'm so sorry for how her family treated her. I told her to reach out to me if she ever needs anything. She got back to me and asked if we can meet for coffee. We met up the day after. At first it was small talk. Then she asked if I would be okay if she told me her version of events. I said of course I would, and she spoke to me about it. Everything her dad did and how her family treated her after she told them. I felt physically sick. She even told me stories about how Jessica told her friends that Mary has a mental condition that causes hallucinations, and that just in case Mary starts rumors about their family, that's why. A lot of people still believe Mary has a mental condition because of Jessica. I knew after that talk that I had to end things with Jessica. I went over to our house and told her I want a divorce. I told her I cannot stand the thought of being her husband and a part of their disgusting family. All she did was cry and ask all this for her. I knew then that she hadn't changed. She was still the same person that did all of those things to Mary, and she was still doing them. We're still not officially divorced, but we haven't been together since, and we are going through the process. It's just taking longer than I thought to get it finalized. Mary and I became friends. I invited her to a birthday dinner my family were hosting for me, and she hit it off with my cousin. He's crazy about her, and she seems really happy with him too. He keeps asking me if it would be too early to propose, and I have to tell him to not scare her away, lol. But they have a really wholesome relationship, and I'm really happy for them. As for me, I'm just surviving. Divorces are tough, but I know I made the right choice. Thank you to everyone that responded and gave me advice. I really appreciate it.
My sister has an unhealthy obsession with making everything in her house fit her aesthetic, which has led to her divorce. So I, 21F, have a sister named Lisa, 27F. My sister has in my eyes an unhealthy obsession to make every in her house fit her aesthetic, so no colorful colors except different shades of brown and gray and white. She throws away anything that does not fit into her aesthetic, including her daughter Maya, 2F, toys, and husband Mark, 29M, clothes. I've told my sister several times she needs to stop this before she does something to push Mark over the edge. She told me to shut up because she knows her man so well. Lisa has a history of throwing away gifts. Gift bag included if it's not in her style. What pushed Mark to finally stand up and leave Lisa was when his elderly mother, whose hobby is knitting, gifted both Mark and Maya colorful sweaters she knitted herself that took a long time to make. Lisa did not like this, so behind Mark's back she threw them away. When Mark learned about this, he told her he was done and demanded a divorce. Lisa called my parents to tell them the news, and I said I told you so on the call. She cussed me out then hanged up. My mom said I could be more sympathetic. And my dad agreed with her. Edit. Okay, let me address a few things here since there are too many comments. 1. Why parents aren't bad people. They don't play favorite. And they don't like Lisa's aesthetic lifestyle, they only lending a shoulder to cry on because she's getting a divorce and Mark kicked her out. 2. Lisa is now living here since Mark has now kicked her out. 3. Lisa behavior started when she joined college. 4. When we ask her to seek therapy or help because of her behavior, she screams she's not mental and calls us stupid. Gives us the cold shoulder. 5. She only allows grays, browns, a select shades of white and black. Edit 2. For those asking, no, Lisa can't get the sweaters back, she threw them into a random dumpster, and when she went back for them they were already gone, and no, I don't think Mark's mom can make another one. It took her over a year to knit 2 of them. She's already in her late 60s, has arthritis and used expensive yarn. We'll update if something happens. Update. I didn't expect to be back so soon. Long story short, my sister got arrested for attacking her STB ex-husband Mark and his mother after getting served with divorce papers. After Lisa was served with divorce papers at her workplace on Friday, Lisa started drinking and crying a lot and spent the entire weekend drinking and crying and repeating calling Mark. Last night she took an Uber to Mark's home and begged him to reconsider the divorce. This is the story I got from Mark. He said no. Then she started insulting him and hitting him. Then when his mom tried to push her away from Mark, my sister attacked Mark's mom. Mark called the police and now my sister arrested with a $6,000 bail that none of us are paying. Mark got bite and scratch marks and his mom has a black eye. We'll update when more details come out.